seek out you. And again, force them to discuss the policies, not the personality. They will always focus on the personality because they suffer from Trump derangement syndrome.
Very good.
That's what this impeachment effort is all about. It's all personal. They just hate Donald Trump. And the facts are irrelevant. Well, let them have their derangement syndrome. Don't have a defensive crouch syndrome in which you force yourself to defend every jot and tittle. Focus on what you want to defend, what you want to emphasize, and what you want to celebrate, and emphasize that. But don't get bogged down in what, I have to suffer on the cable channels. I have to tell you, I've been a cable pundit now for over 20 years, and I think the whole industry has gone blanking crazy.
Yep.
I don't recognize any of the cable channels anymore. Even Fox is becoming eccentric. And I work there. The arguments, we no longer have arguments, we yell at each other. Have you noticed that there are fewer and fewer times on cable where there's one person debating another? Now it's just one person with one point of view, giving their point of view, the guy already agrees with them. We got to get beyond this. And it's not Donald Trump's fault, but it's certainly a part of the problem. And it's certainly not always Nancy Pelosi's fault, although it's certainly a big part of the problem. By the way, this country is going to, if Donald Trump serves 8 years, we're going to elect somebody completely different. If for no other reason, for age reasons. Do you realize that everyone running the country right now is over the age of 72? Donald Trump is 72. Mitch McConnell is 77. Nancy Pelosi is 78 or 88, depending on. You saw her stumbling in the speech. She literally lost several pages of her speech. The other Democratic leaders are all 78 or 79 or 80. Chuck Schumer is the young spring chicken. I think he's 68. So we're certainly going to have a new generation of leadership. So we have to hold the line, beat the identity politics in 2020, whether it's with Trump or someone else. And then we're going to have a new president, come what may, in 2024. And I think that while we pay attention to the short term and the medium term, we have to understand one thing. We're going to have a real challenge in 2024 if Trump is reelected, because one of the reasons Hillary Clinton lost was there's one sure thing in American politics. A party that holds office for 2 terms almost never gets a third. Almost never. Ronald Reagan was the exception when George H.W. Bush was able to succeed him. Everyone thought they were voting for the 3rd term of Reagan. And they did, except for that. My lips crumble, which we can go into. But, Lyndon Johnson couldn't win a 3rd term for the Democrats in 68.
Didn't try.
Bill Clinton couldn't win his 3rd term with his Vice President Al Gore in 2000. George W. Bush couldn't win a 3rd term in 2008 against Barack Obama. And Obama couldn't get a 3rd term for Hillary Clinton. So we have to recognize a couple things. Yes, we need to win in 2020. We need to win if it's Donald Trump. We need to win if it's someone else. But in 2024, we're going to have to come up with someone who really, really can deliver some new leadership and a fresh start and a fresh message. I don't know who that's going to be. We can have a discussion about that. Because the 3rd term curse usually applies. If they lose in 2020, they are favored to win in 2024. And if they continue to move left, we're really in trouble. I think we have to beat them again in 2024 before, like the Labour Party in Britain for about 15 years, they finally get their sense beaten into them and they have to go to the center. So that's where we stand politically. And my final message to you is this. I know this is self-serving, but don't let anyone ever tell you there isn't any voter fraud.
Oh,
And I'm gonna give you one anecdote that you can use. I'm sorry?
what?
Don't let anyone think that they're telling you there isn't any voter fraud. I'm gonna give you one anecdote that you should
NASA.
use for any New Yorker that you meet.
NASA.
I've already told you about the 9%. You can use that with your friends and enemies. Here's the anecdote about voter fraud that every New Yorker should know, and no one does, because this is one thing that was never reported in the New York Times. It's going to shock you. Michael Bloomberg, as his last act as mayor, almost his last act as mayor, authorized the Department of Investigations, which is the city agency. Well, you are one of them. You're going to the head of the class. You already knows this. The Department of Investigations is the city agency that investigates corruption, bribery, skullduggery, the whole bit. They're trained professionals. And he actually authorized one final investigation before he left office in 2013. It was a sting operation on elections. They had 63 investigators that they sent out to vote in the name of people who were either dead, moved out of state, or working in Rikers Island in public housing. In other words, they were wards of the state. And because New York has no photo ID, you don't have to show anything to prove who you are. You sign a book, but the signature's upside down and no one ever looks at it. So 63 people went out to vote for people who were dead, out of state, or in prison.
And 62 got away with it.
They succeeded 61 out of 63 times.
Actually, 62.
No questions asked. By the way, they didn't cast actual votes. They all wrote in John Doe and left the polling place, so they didn't actually vote. 2 times they failed. One of the 2 times they failed, the poll worker said, "Oh, you're in the wrong precinct. You should be voting in the other precinct down the street. Let me walk out with you and
Show you where."
exactly how to get there." And that's what they did. So that was the first failure, and it really wasn't a failure. The second failure was,
The grandmother.
it was in I think it was in Bed-Stuy. Somebody shows up to vote. And by the way, they mixed up everything. They had if there was a 93-year-old Polish grandmother who would die, who was on the voting rolls, they sent a 21-year-old Puerto Rican woman to vote in her place. And they completely mixed it up. Including, they even sent men to vote for women and women to vote for men on a couple of occasions. That worked too. So this one case in Bed-Stuy, the investigator shows up and says, "I want to vote in the name of so-and-so, John." And the poll worker looks up and says,
That's my grandson.
"Oh, I don't think so." And the guy says, "Well, why? I want to vote." She says, "Well, I really can't. I mean, that's my son, John.
I thought it was grandson.
And he's in prison.
Yeah.
I don't think you look like him." That was the only real failure.
And then, that's what I said.
Now, how many of you have heard that story other than the smart lady here? How many? Okay, a couple of you, but basically this is not recorded. So when they tell you there's no voter fraud,
That's
just
the-
tell them that story and, give me your email or something. I'll be happy to send you the article.
I will do.
With that, I think I've gone long, and now's the time where you get to participate. And yes, statements, if you wish, pick them under a minute, questions. Why don't you call on people? You know this crowd better than I do.
No.
And if there are any outside educators, here, you'll spot.
See, you're lucky tonight, John. I am about questions and making comments, so comments are okay for now. Before we start, I have one quick announcement because I may not get it at the end of the meeting. I failed to tell you all that after the meeting, people like to go to the Parlor Bar at 86 and Broadway, 250 West 86th Street. So to continue the conversation after the meeting, people like to go to the Parlor at 86 and Broadway, 250 West 86th Street. So we're like, it's on your agendas. Okay, yes.
It's a softball question.
Can everyone stand up, so I don't want to have to repeat the question? If you can stand up, I mean, obviously you've got a problem. Yes.
Here's a softball question. Does he get the wall?
What?
You get the wall.
Get the wall.
Yes.